All right, everybody. Good afternoon. What is going on? We've got some more Seattle Seahawks stuff to talk about today. I want to talk a little bit about third down. I've been thinking about third down lately. It is one of the things that I think about a lot when it comes to the Seahawks and football in general. And I want to ask the question, is 2026 the season where the Seahawks really figure out third down offensively? Because the Seahawks have had mostly good or at least decent offenses over the last decade and a half. They've had some great offenses and they put up points. They've led the team to victories, but third down has been a little bit of a tough one for them. This video is sponsored by Prize Picks. So I want to ask, is this the year we figure it out? And let me expand on that a little bit here. Understand what we're dealing with here. So for starters, let's just start with the raw number, the third down conversion percentage for the Seahawks in 2025. So this is last season, the regular season. The Seahawks ranked 16th in the NFL in third down conversion, just under 40%. Now, I often say that there is a very strong correlation between the best offenses and the best teams on third down. And the same goes for the defense. And I believe those two things correlate very strongly to winning and losing. I've done videos studying this and really going over the numbers and really looking at the correlations. You'd have to go back a few years to find the last time I really went into depth there. But basically, if you convert a high percentage of third downs on offense and you prevent a high percentage of third down conversions on defense, it is very likely you're going to be a great team, and it's very likely that you're at least going to make a deep run. And if you don't do those two things, very hard to make a deep run. There are exceptions, like last year the Rams were bad on third down, but they were still obviously the team in the NFC Championship game. Philly won their division with a poor third down conversion rate. And meanwhile, you go up to the top here, the Bengals had a high third down conversion rate, and they were not a playoff team. Arizona was actually a good third down team, but they were one of the worst teams in the league. But overall, this is kind of where the money gets made. And as much as Seattle had a really good offense last year, they kind of did it in spite of their third down percentage, which was just mediocre. So is this the year where maybe things start to get figured out a little bit? Because third down struggles were pretty common when Russell Wilson was the quarterback. And they never, I mean, they were okay sometimes with Geno, but they were never great. I think the last time we were great on third down was probably 2015. I think you'd have to go back to 2015 to find a year where the offense was elite at converting third downs. And if you want to look at it another way, Warren Sharp posted this the other day, EPA on third downs in 2025. Sam Darnold is 24th on this list. Sam Darnold is down here at negative 0.12. And as you can see, there are a lot of quarterbacks out there, some of whom are not even all that well respected, who did have positive EPAs. Right now, there are other quarterbacks down here that are good, so it's not an end-all be-all, but it's just another thing to think about when you're trying to figure out how this team can get better. Third down offensively is an issue. And, I'd like to sit here and say, oh, that was the regular season. In the playoffs, we were way better. But if you watch the games and you remember those games, you know that that was not really the case. All right, guys, let's take a quick break here to talk a little bit about Prize Picks, currently the #1 sports pick app in America. The app is very easy to use. Check it out to my left here. You can do player picks, where you just pick more or less on a few player stats and lock in your lineup. Or you can pick teams, where you pick winners, spread, or total on any game or fight. The app is available in most states, including California, Texas, and Florida. Right now, they have a great offer. You can play your first $5 lineup and get $150 in lineups if you win. All you have to do is use code HMA when you sign up. It's a brand new offer. Best time possible to get on the app. So get on over there and get to winning that first lineup. So remember, Prize Picks, code HMA. Download the app today, and remember to always gamble responsibly. If you go back to the divisional round game against the 49ers, as much as the offense was great in that game and didn't need to be good on third down, they converted 40% of their third downs in that game. So right in line with what they did in the regular season. Against the Rams, yes, it was better. They actually converted more than 50% of their third downs. So that was great. 7 out of 13. And then in the Super Bowl, it went back the other way and they converted 1/4 of their opportunities to pick up third downs. So not really. I mean, in the playoffs, it was still just kind of okay. I understand that the Super Bowl was kind of a weird game in the sense that the offense was obviously shutting it down and not taking risks because the defense was playing so good they knew they didn't really need to do anything like that. But 4 out of 16 on third down is bad no matter how you slice it. And again, that's a lot of evidence that tells you you've got at least a little bit of an issue on third down. And this team shouldn't. And the reason why I say that is because you look at this team. They've got a good quarterback. They don't have an elite quarterback, but they have a good quarterback. Sam Darnold's done enough over the last couple years to prove that he's a good quarterback. And they have guys like JSN, to a certain extent Cooper Kupp, and even AJ Barner. These guys are made for converting on third down, especially JSN. But as much as Cooper Kupp is not at his full strength anymore, as much as he's not the great player that he once was, he's still somebody that you look at on third down just kind of reflexively. So the fact that you have those guys and you're still mediocre to bad on third down is concerning. And remember, this Seahawks team does not like to go for it on fourth down very much unless it's a barnyard. So if you don't pick it up on third down, you probably don't get another chance on fourth. Going for it on fourth down, not really a thing this team likes to do, and it works for them. But it does kind of illustrate why third down is maybe more important for this team than it is for other teams that are a little bit more confident on fourth. So you've got the quarterback. Last year, you had good running backs. Not that running backs play a huge part on third down, but they play a part. You've got guys like Kupp, JSN, Barner, who should be really good at being third down receivers. The only thing really left, other than maybe play calling, and Kubiak was great last year, I can't really say anything negative about him there, is the offensive line. So that's got to be the place where things need to get better here. And Nemhauser, Hawk Blogger, actually made a really interesting tweet the other day that had some great data that I want to take a look at here. Basically, this takes a look at the play of offensive linemen on early downs versus late downs. Early downs, things are more balanced for this team. They're going to run the ball more. For most teams in general, you see a little bit more of a balanced attack. And then late downs, you're mostly passing because duh. So early downs, let's take a look at the two pictures he posted. He posted two pictures, a bunch of good data here, basically on early downs. So this is early down passing because this is a pressure. Gray Zabel, Charles Cross, Anthony Bradford, Abe Lucas, all kind of sort of okay here, right? Cross is definitely the best of the group. Cross actually had a really nice quick pressure rate on early downs. They guys like Bradford and Lucas are giving up pressure a little too quick, but their pressure rate is fine. Zabel's good too. The one liability here is actually Jalen Sundell, who is a disaster on early down passing plays. Read into that as you will. But we're talking about late downs here, and if you go to late down stuff, Sundell actually becomes one of the best players in football. He has a below average quick pressure rate, and he has an insanely high time to pressure stat. It is actually the best in football. So oddly enough, Sundell becomes superhuman on late downs, and he's atrocious on early downs. So again, read into that as you will. Cross is okay. Zabel's okay. The problem is really on the right side here. Bradford and Lucas are both getting abused on third down. And I don't think a lot of people will be surprised by the Bradford thing. Like a lot of Seahawks fans have a strong dislike of him to begin with, but this really illustrates that the whole right side of the offensive line is kind of the probably the main reason why this team struggles on third down. You've got Anthony Bradford, who has one of the highest quick pressure rates on late downs, and his time to pressure rate is also sub 2.5 seconds, which is well below the average. And then Abe Lucas, his quick pressure rate is a little bit lower, but the pressures he gives up are almost instantaneous. So when trying to figure out what this team needs to do to take that next step on third down, and I don't think they'll ever be a truly elite third down team until they're kind of taking off the until they take off the training wheels, because this is a team, maybe more than any other team in football, that kind of gives up and runs the ball on third and long because they trust their defense so much. And that's going to keep your percentage down a little bit, but there's plenty of other things you can do to boost that percentage. And I think that really, because look, the Bradford thing, he's in a contract year. We'll probably see a little bit better from him, but he's a right guard at the end of the day. If he's going to be a liability, that's not something that I'm going to stress out too much about. Abe Lucas, on the other hand, like, he's a right tackle we gave a second contract to. He's considered to be a very good player. He is a good player. That's somebody that I'm looking at right now to step up and figure out why he's giving up such quick pressure and why this is such an issue, because that's the guy who's going up against a lot of the big guns. That's the guy who's going to have to deal with, I mean, not all the time, but he's going to have to deal with guys like Myles Garrett, Nick Bosa, shoot, who else? God, who's the, what, Montez Sweat, I want to say, when we play the Bears. Yeah, that's the guy's name. My bad, guys. But, when we play the Broncos, he might have to deal with guys like Nick Bonito. Like this is a non-trivial sample size that tells you that he's just as big of an issue here as Bradford. And again, I can kind of live with one weakness. Two next to each other, tough. So I don't know really what else you can do, right? Like, you're not going to add another really good third down wide receiver. I don't think you can get much better than what you already have. Like I said, the quarterback is good. Last year, the running backs were really good, and that didn't help that much. So, I mean, this year it's probably gotten worse, and maybe that hurts things a little bit. But look, we're probably going to be, I would say, a team that runs the ball a little more effectively than they did last year, but for less volume. So you're going to have to find some ways to compensate for that. And I think the most obvious way would be just find a way to be good on third down, be better on third down, convert 45% instead of just 40. And look, this team already doesn't give up a lot of sacks. Like, Darnold got sacked at a very low rate last year. One of the lowest rates in franchise history, actually. So it's not like he's constantly putting the team in third and long. There are third and longs, but not because of sacks. And penalties shouldn't be a huge problem this year overall. So this is it. This is the thing that I'm looking at right now. And this chart puts the data on display in a way that is very easy to read and very easy to understand. And it tells a very compelling story. Bradford and Lucas are getting beat too fast on late downs. So Lucas in particular, that guy, he got paid. He's got to be better. So going to be watching this throughout the season, but I think that's the only thing you can address specifically. There are other things you can do, of course. You're always trying to be better in every aspect of football. But this, to me, is the difference between the Seahawks being mediocre on third down, like they were last year, and being top 10. And that's all they need. That's a few percentage points. I know it doesn't sound like a huge deal, but if they are a few percentage points better on third down, then that offense, which was already really good last year, could become elite, even without a stellar running back, even without a elite carry the offense quarterback. So let's get it done. All right, I'll see you guys later. Go Hawks. Gonna be at least one more video later today. We'll see if there's more after that. But we are right on the cusp, guys. So things are gonna start happening and the videos are gonna come flying. All right, see you guys later. Go Hawks.